Today, we'll explore how to use an autonomous assistant after creating a workflow. Imagine we've just set up a flow here. For instance, this is a basic workflow. I asked it to build a content writer, so it created a process where the user provides a topic and it generates content. For example, if we run this in autonomous mode, we can pass an initial message and some system variables. Since this workflow needs a user topic, we'll input it here. Let's use the topic AI automation and career growth. Now, the main question. What output does this workflow or agent graph provide? Everything stored in the session will be returned as the output of this workflow or agent graph. If you enter a user topic, the child agent generates the content. This agent delivers edited content or a refined story in the capture variable. Finally, the agent returns research insights and content structure. All captured variables, user topic, content, and more, are included in the response from the agent graph. So, you now have all of this. We've received all the necessary outputs. You'll get search content, content structure, draft content, and edited content. Next, you can publish this. Here's how to integrate this agent graph into your website or another platform. Go to Assets. This is your agent graph for multi-agent content writing. Here, you can set up a trigger. Name it Content Writer. There are 3 trigger types. According to the documentation, triggers provide APIs that can be executed in 3 modes: two-way API, single endpoint, and background task. If your workflow runs in less than 60 or 120 seconds, you can use the single endpoint. For longer processes, choose the background task. Start a task, and after about 10 or 20 seconds, you can check the task status. Once complete, you receive the response. The third option is a cron job, allowing you to schedule the workflow to run automatically. Let's select the background task since this may take over a minute. Save the configuration. You'll get an endpoint, but it won't work just yet. Let's try accessing this endpoint in Postman. You need to provide the correct request body for the Flow API. This is the payload structure. The workflow doesn't require a message, so leave that field empty. The important key value pair is user topic. Let's set the value to AI automation in the real world and send the request. It doesn't work yet, mainly due to token authorization. The required token comes from your workspace. It shows pending. To check the status, use the Status API. You'll need the workflow ID returned by the previous API response, then use the Get API to check status. Let's retry with the token. It still fails. This is because the build hasn't been created. The build step is essential. Let's create the trigger. The graph is now available. At this point, you don't have tools or variables configured. Create a build and assign a version. Assign the build to an environment, like development, since you're using a development endpoint. Now, create it. You should now receive a response. Let's check the status. The status is pending. Logs are being generated. Clear the logs as needed. When the status is complete, the response contains keys such as research insights, content structure, draft document, and edited content. Every variable produced by the workflow, from input to output, is returned here. In summary, after designing your agent graph, you must publish it, create a trigger, and choose whether to trigger via background task, API, or cron job. You can schedule runs or trigger as needed, but always remember to create a build. If you created a tool, select it, publish, and assign the environment. With your Workspace API key and bearer token, you can access responses from your API. This can be integrated into your website, automation app, or used as a webhook.